Today we're going to be talking about your greatness from my book, Between Sundays, Chapter 4, Let's Send It.
Let's send it. Welcome to Full Stone Living, everybody. We're so glad that you're here. Before you forget, why don't you smash that subscribe button or the follow button on Spotify. Make sure you subscribe because we've got episodes coming out every single first and third Friday of every single month. Yes. And we have had them coming out for what?
Years.
2 years.
Hey-o.
Let's go.
Hey-o.
So you're not going to want to miss it.
Right.
Nate Thompson, my co-host, right here sitting next to me.
Thank you, Ethan Bricker, my co-host.
Ethan Bricker. You already said that. This is the book that Nate wrote, and it's really, really good. It's called Between Sundays, and if you have already missed it, we have 3 episodes before this one about the first 3 chapters. So we're making our way through this 6-chapter book, and this week we are on Chapter 4, Your Greatness. Yep. Nate, tell me what this chapter is all about.
This one... There's the 3 things that I kind of touch on in here is the declaration that's kind of like spoken over your life and like a catalyst when somebody's in your life that propels you in a direction, and the potential. And in this chapter specifically, I guess, I feel like this one kind of dives a little bit more into just maybe more my life than the other chapters in the book where they're kind of like more family related or whatever, but this one kind of just is specific to me growing up.
It goes a lot more deep into like your internal thought process and in your internal like wounds. I think it's a lot more vulnerable. That's for sure.
Yeah, it feels. Yeah, I think so.
You talk about in this book your teachers, right?
Yeah.
That said something. I really identified that with that because basically there's a like moment where one of his teachers says like it's like pulling teeth with you, and how that like hurt you, and there was other teachers as well.
Well, it's kind of like when I was younger, like I just didn't do well in school. Like I just wasn't really geared for the way school was laid out. Like I mean, a lot of kids are, but so this is specific to me where I just really struggled through school. Like I really, at the end of high school, I honestly should not have graduated. My teacher literally just gave me a passing grade, which got me enough grades to get my diploma. And I realized I was going to be like the first person in my family, I think, even extended like cousins who wasn't going to graduate, which is very strange because I wasn't like terribly a bad kid. Like I wasn't like, getting like the cops involved with anything in my life. But just the insecurities that certain things, I think, like you could say, like intellectually, that kind of got laid out for me. It definitely, there was moments where like it could have really propelled me in directions very, very easily because of those, whether they're false securities or insecurities. But going back, it's just amazing to me for all of us. I feel like a lot of people listening, like even like you said, when you read through it, you can identify when there's moments when we're kids where someone will say something to you that just is the right thing at the right time to destroy you.
Yeah.
And the one thing I just remember it was in 4th grade, and it was nothing, dude. It was a nothing moment to everybody in the room but me, because all of the teacher wanted was she had these like Disney stories up on the board, and you just had to match the story to the title. And I was sitting there like they're all the same story. Like you can tell. I'm
an Enneagram 8, and I would like to challenge you.
So and I'm like, you can add this story could fit here. So I'm trying to explain it to her, and to the point where she was fed up.
Yeah.
Like she don't care. She was done and just said in front of everybody, it's like pulling teeth with you, Nathan.
What kind of 4th grader were you? That's what I want to know. Like, what led your teacher to that moment where she's like, man, I just need a cigarette right now?
Yeah. know. No, she did. It's true. I don't know because like I did dumb stuff. Like I remember taking a quarter and locking all the stall doors in the bathroom so nobody could take a potty break, and they had to go get the maintenance guy to unlock. Yeah, it was a whole thing. But that was like just the little things like that. But she, that day, dude, that like freaking rocked me. Like I remember it. I'm 40 and I remember it. Like I'm like that's. So when I wrote about like this chapter, there was this. The main thing, like I just remember, like my parents had the most opportunity, as all parents do, to declare something over their kids. Yeah. And to tell them like whatever they want. The parent will say whatever comes in their head the majority of the time, I feel like. And my mom and dad they have never called me a name. Mm-hmm. They never have. Not to my face anyway. Yeah. They never called me stupid or anything. And that's kind of like the idea, like this chapter, I called it Your Greatness, because Dad he'd call me Nate the Great, or, what are you doing today, Your Greatness? And just like these things, it was just this memory and just thinking of like that declaration that we speak over people that we don't know. We don't know if we're going to say something, the right thing at the right time to send them in a direction. Yeah. Because that's what it is. It's the right thing at the right time. The direction is good or bad. Mm-hmm. It's so good what you can say, but if you really think about, that's like the response to it, because you can say, like our parents say things all the time as we grew up, and even friends or family or people that carry weight, like their words carry weight. They can say something one day, it doesn't matter to you, but they nail it on that whatever it is.
Yeah, like, whatever your heart's in a vulnerable spot. And why is that?
Like that's its own topic. Why is it that certain things
just get you? I don't know. I had when I read this chapter, it was super I identified with it because when I was in 6th grade, I had a math teacher. Let me give some backstory. I was homeschooled until 6th grade. So 6th grade is my first year in public school. I have this math teacher named Mrs. Gardner. And Mrs. Gardner is close to retirement. So she kind of done with like trying to make sure these kids.
She did her time, people.
She did her time. And so I was sitting in the class and like I'm really trying to learn. Like when I was in high school, middle school, I got all A's and B's most of the time. But that first 6th grade year was so hard for me because I had been behind. And she was doing a problem and she said like, are there any questions? So I was like, I don't understand this one. Can you go over that one again? And then she did again. And I was like, why is this like, it's literally as simple as like, I don't understand how, whatever, I don't know, 49, how does 49 get divided by 7? I don't understand how there's that many 7s in 49, whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean? Something just super simple. And she was just like she was like, come up here. And she brought me up to the overhead projector thing, and she's like doing it, and I'm standing there in front of everybody, and she's like, look it. And she's like doing it, and then I still don't get it. And then she had this like snap moment where she was just like, how can you not get this? Or something like that. And I went back to my seat and I sat there and just cried because she like she just got so angry that I wasn't getting it. So I like went home to my mom and was just like shattered by what she had said. And that propelled me in a direction where I started to feel like I'm never going to get this stuff. And then like even in English, I started struggling that year. And so it was like that one little moment kind of earthquake and shattered into the other things, even though it was only math, you know?
Dude, and it, like even for me, like academically, very strange, because when I finished school, throughout my 20s, I was in a band and I just did like odd jobs or whatever and just different stuff. And then I went back to school, to college, to get my RN degree. So I was like 28 when I started going back. And I remember, like, I was a totally different dude. Like, I wanted to learn and I was good at it. Like, I'm like, oh, I know I can do this. But I remember being fully grown and taking like a test and wanting to be the first one done to just prove that I'm just smarter than you people. Like, how weird is that?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm sitting there like just burning through it, trying to get done just to be the first one done as a grown man, secretly in my own head, still thinking about me from school from before, how I would hide out and not challenge myself academically in ways and like use like humor or whatever else and like struggle through because I didn't want to like challenge myself in that area because of just different little things that like that, those moments that came up.
Yeah.
That just
break
crazy.
you. They just break you. So part of my story too. So I go from 6th grade, failed my math. So the next year I have to basically repeat in 7th grade, basically the same level math. And in 7th grade, I had a different teacher. I can't remember her name, but she was like amazing. I can't remember her name right now. I would be able to remember later. But anyway, so she is this incredible teacher. She tells me over and over and over again, even though you don't understand right now, you will understand this. By the time you're done with my class, you're going to understand and you're going to learn this. And I know it doesn't make sense, but it's going to make sense. And she just kept reiterating that to the point where I passed that class. Great. She was one of my favorite teachers. Then going into high school, on my own voluntary decision, I decided to take 2 math classes so that I could get caught up to where where the rest of my peers were at. Because it was just this like thing of like, I can do this. I know how to do this.
Dude, she was the catalyst.
She was a catalyst. She like propelled me into. It's like one person tore me down, the other person built me back up, but she didn't just build me back up. She like propelled me into the future, which I'm not a mathematician at all. And honestly, you could give me most math problems right now, and I'd probably barely be able to figure it out. But what she taught me is that through work, and she taught me that I have the capacity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's so huge. For people is just to understand you have the capacity for whatever you want to go towards, anyways.
I put this in here, like there's the definition of catalyst is a substance that enables a chemical reaction to proceed at a usually faster rate or under different conditions. And then an agent that provokes or speeds significant change or action. I think we are those things to people. And then we're going to speed somebody to a significant change or action. And then it's like, what way are we projecting those people? And then thinking of those moments where people have done that to us. People have been our catalysts. And the one thing I think that I wrote down in here was that time when I was finishing up high school, and I was just a mess, had no direction of any kind, of anything. My mom, she spoke into like the idea was that she didn't give me an option or an idea from like an earthly standpoint. Like she just literally just dropped some scripture on me, like at the right time, the right moment. And it was like an eternal right word, And then what was crazy was that what happened when I was like 18. And then just last year, at the end of last year, she did it again with the same exact verse 20 some years later that she doesn't even remember. Like at the time she didn't know it was just crazy how like she was again a catalyst in a moment and then brought back like the same dude. It's just amazing. The words we say at the right time, but then to be the catalyst for somebody, to be aware that you could be speaking to a moment, like a life-changing moment. And it's like, what are we bringing to the table? Am I just always bringing my opinion? Am I always just bringing what I think or whatever? Or am I bringing something that has like substance, like that can sustain a significant change or action in somebody?
Yep. Yeah. It kind of begs the question, like, if you're somebody listening to this, are you a catalyst? And do you have catalysts around you? You know what I mean? And if you're like, I don't feel like I'm a catalyst for people, then that means you need to learn more from the catalysts around you. If you say, I have no catalysts around you, then then you need to find a completely different friend group. Just being
for
totally
real,
honest. If
for
you
real.
can't name one catalyst in your friend group, then you need an entire different group of friends.
And two, I want to
You
add
know?
to this is when you identify the catalysts in your group, where are they sending you? You know, what are they
What are they
pushing you-
doing? Like,
Yeah,
what
like,
are they planting
it-
in you? And
Yeah.
how are they that boost of adrenaline to your dreams? Like where you're chasing after your goals and then they just give you that shot of epi or whatever
Yeah.
it is. And then you're just like, let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
and
need
then
those people
you
that
need them
do
because
that.
some of them are going to be like you're going to be going towards your dream, and they're going to be the catalyst to try to shove you the other way. Because whether they're coming from their own insecurities or whatever they have, it's like there's always the two catalysts, and identifying them is huge.
Yeah.
And like you said, if you're not being one or you are, where are you projecting people towards? And then identifying the ones in your life that you're listening to that are they
propelling you the opposite direction
Yeah.
of where you're actually trying to go? Yeah.
because too, like even what you said earlier about when that teacher just identified the potential in you, you know, like we all have like the potential is there. And it's like,
You know, the beauty of that too is that you can be a catalyst for someone and not know where they're going. Like all you have to do, you don't need to be this prophet or somebody who can see the end of the road. You need to be somebody who can look into somebody's heart and see the potential of what they're called to do.
Yeah.
And just by speaking that out does so much for people. I think sometimes we think we need to know what we need to I need to have an idea of what your next goal is. You know what I mean? Like before you're reading the book, it's like, I don't know what to do other than just be like, just keep doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? Or in if it's a micro conference, then I'm like, yeah, let's go do the micro conference. Sometimes it's like, you think you need to be like the person be like, well, what about this idea? Or what about this idea? I don't know if I've ever given this man sitting next to me a good idea ever. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know if I have, but I feel like what I have done is just be the person to just be like, do it. Like, and there have been moments I think where I've been like, your heart is good. Maybe be careful about this or be careful about that, but do it,
dude,
you
and
know?
that's being a pillar for someone. Being there is dude. That can be, especially I would say, speaking to like real life, that's huge for me. Like if there is an idea that I have to do, and that we go for it and we do like Kate and I just did something when we did our book launch the other day, or a book party. I didn't know what to call it. There was a real insecurity there for me. I felt dumb almost, dude. Like I'm still trying to like figure out how to like promote this book without feeling like I'm trying to like sell it or whatever. But I'm like, I just want to share it. But there's a weirdness there I'm trying to figure out in real time.
Yeah.
And Ethan knows it because he tried to make a video for us. I couldn't even like promote the book, but like, so I'm trying to figure it out in real time. So then when we did our party to just thank people for buying the book, there was a moment where you and Lyd kind of walked in and we had a couple other friends, but you guys came in and I was just like, oh, okay, like sweet, you know, cause there's like, it was just like, I told you this, I was like watching like two pillars
Just,
coming in to
we're
support
here,
it.
let's go.
And I was just like,
Yeah.
let's do that. Like, we're good. Let's go. Let's
Yeah.
do this. And there's something about that, like in that moment, like you guys were the catalyst. Like you just like projected it one click more. You know, it's like turning the cog again, you know?
Yeah.
And those guys, those opportunities are always here for us. And to see them, to activate into them and to speak towards it and to like support your friend and what they're doing. Giving advice, you know, giving, and I fall back on, you can give wisdom, you can give advice, you can give your experiences and stuff like that. I also think
Or you
lining it
can
up,
just show up, and be like, what do you need? Like, you know,
like, how can I help?
which at the book launch, I showed up and I was just like, I'm doing a promo video for you. And I didn't tell you. And you could tell Nate was like, what do I do? Like,
Yeah, I was like-
I was just like, I'm going to do it for you.
Yeah.
But, you know,
And then he was like, oh, he asked me if I have ideas. I'm like, just do it. Because
yeah.
I don't have any
but
ideas.
like that, I think that's sometimes too, where you're like, I don't know what to do. It's like, just do something that's within your skill set for that
Yeah.
person. You know what
It's
I
just
mean?
being a
And,
wingman.
yeah.
Like,
It's like,
just
I don't
coming in and-
know. I know how to do video, so I'll do something, you know?
Yeah.
And that's just fun for me anyways. But I just think that catalysts are people who are just willing to see the potential and either say, I'm going to run alongside, or I'm just going to like add fire, add fuel to the flame that's already burning, you know, and the good catalyst, I guess, where I'm stuck on, but
that's where I am too. Because I feel like for us, like, it's like you will see the potential in your friend or your child or your spouse or your boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever, you know, it is like to see the where you can positively support them, challenge them, push them, be there for them, show up, help, do all these things. I feel like that. The one thing we've said to Bear since before he was born was, you were born to be great. The world needs you to be great. God designed you to be great. And I think that's something it's for all of us. I mean, I got it from, it was so like good. Theodore Roosevelt's parents said it to him. It's like, it's because you're not speaking into a moment. You're speaking into like the potential of the person. So many times that's why we call each other names, because we're speaking into a moment when somebody's driving you nuts, and you just want to like prove a point where, you know, you scale it out and you can be a catalyst to speak into the future, not into the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I love about that too? I know we're going a little bit over, but what I love about that too is I've heard you know what I mean? Like we used to be like, you're a world changer to people in church and stuff like that. Like, you're a world changer. And there was a part of me that eventually was like, if you're not changing the world, you're not a world changer. You know what I mean? It's like, there's certain statements where you can just throw statements out and it's like, but is that true? When you say that Bear is great, it's like Bear doesn't really need to know why he's great. You'll tell him why he's great. And there's certain things where you can tell people the truth of who they are. But I think it's almost like sometimes culture wants us to just like give people these like call people these things, but then that could leave that person going home, laying in bed thinking, I'm not that. You know what I mean? And there might have been times where you were a kid and you were laying there thinking, I'm not great. Yeah. But the truth is that your parents can identify why you're great. You know what I mean? And what things in you are great. And so honestly, there's a portion of me too that says, like, if you're a catalyst, then don't just give people fluff, give them real. Yeah. You know what I mean? Don't just say things that are that sound great. Give them real. You know what I mean? Give them the evidence of why you believe in them. I think sometimes it's hard, I think, when people are encouraging you, but you don't feel like they're giving you real evidence. They're giving you like the Instagram or Facebook reel version. It's like, but you want to know that person's like, they really do see the potential. So I guess kind of a weird segue, but if you're looking to be a catalyst in somebody's life, don't just use words you've heard from other people. Like, really find the truth of why you believe that person's great and why you believe that they're called to greatness. Yeah.
And I think too, the catalysts that I can think of in my life, they're in my life. You know, they're there. They've been there with me throughout different things, you know, and then, I mean, I'm sure we all have some that are just like, you know, that are inspirational to the moment or whatever, or
the occasional person who just kind of comes in, at
the
right time.
Yeah.
I had that a couple days ago. Somebody on Instagram messaged me and it was like, that was right now, just perfect. And then they just disappeared. Yeah.
So yeah, I think this week, send it by, I guess, identify some catalysts in your life.
Yes.
Identify if they're healthy, if they're propelling you in healthy direction and positive direction, if they're pushing you towards the Lord. I'm just going to call it out as I see it.
Yep.
If they're catalysts that are trying to hold you, like push you the wrong direction, trying to make you who the Lord doesn't want you to be, you know, all
or
these
holding
things.
You back because they're insecure that you could be better than them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's what I think of a negative catalyst, is somebody who's too scared of you going too far and too much that way that they get left behind out of insecurity. Yeah. You know, but
so identify them and clean them up and thank them. One of the two.
Thank them, get around them, find out what makes them, why they're so good at being a catalyst, and then become that.
Do it.
Yep.
Okay.
We love you guys. Make sure you subscribe.
Yep.
Make sure you write a review on iTunes, and make sure you hit the little 3 little bubbles if you're listening on Spotify. You can rate and review there as well. Helps our podcast get put in front of more people.
Yes, it does.
Yep.
Do it.
Awesome. We love you
All right.
guys. Make sure to buy Between Sundays on Amazon. Type in Between Sundays, stories from childhood, lessons for life. Nathan Thompson.
Hey, take it easy.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.